Okay, good morning. Welcome to
Math problems number 62.
Math Problems number 62. Okay, so we're continuing our review of least common multiple today. And what does least common multiple mean?
It's the smallest number that both numbers go into.
Okay, yeah, the smallest number that both numbers go into. That's what we were doing this morning. We always did two numbers, but today we're going to do three numbers. So it's going to be the smallest number that all of the numbers go into. Okay. So first, why don't we just write down some multiples and see what happens. What are some multiples of 8?
8, 16, 24, 32, 40.
Okay, let's stop there for a second. Let's do some multiples of 10.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
Okay, and some multiples of 12.
12, 24, 36, 48, 60.
Do you have any?
Common.
Nothing in all three columns yet.
I guess we have to write some more.
Well, maybe we'll have to write some more, but we wouldn't know how far we would have to go, so maybe we'll use our other technique.
Factoring into primes.
Let's factor into primes and then see if we can figure out what this is going to mean. Now, luckily, these numbers are all fairly easy to factor into primes.
8 is 2 cubed.
2 cubed.
10 is 2 times 5. 12 is 3 times 2 squared.
Okay, 2 squared times 3. I always like to write the smallest prime first. Okay, and now, so what does that mean about multiples of 8 and the way they're going to factor?
Well, they're always going to have a 2 cubed in them.
Right, they're always going to have at least a 2 cubed. And all multiples of 8, 1 times 8, 2 times 8, they're definitely all going to at least have a 2 cubed. So we know for our least common multiple, it's got to have a 2 cubed in it. What about multiples of 10? Or at least a 2 cubed, I mean.
They're always going to have a 2 times 5.
Okay, so multiples of 10 are always going to have at least 1 2 and at least 1 5. What about multiples of 12?
12 is going to have at least a 2 squared and a 3.
Okay, so how do we find then what our least common multiple is going to look like?
Well, we have to take the largest prime power and eat.
Okay, so we look at the largest prime powers, because if all of these have a 2 in them, but they have to at least have a 2 cubed to be divisible by 8, right? So which power of 2 do we need for sure in the least common multiple?
We need for sure 2 cubed.
2 cubed. Okay, what's the next prime we should look at?
In 10 there's 5. Well, in 10 there's a 2 times 5.
Okay.
But we also have a couple more 2's.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, let's stay with the 2's then. If it's divisible by 2 cubed, is it also divisible by 2?
Well, you don't have it. Well, you're gonna be short 2 2's. So.
How come?
Well, because 10 has only 1 2 and 8 has 3 2's.
Right. So how many 2's in every multiple of 10 needs at least how many 2's?
At least 1 2.
Okay. Or when we're writing down our least common multiple, when we pick the highest prime power, here how many 2's do I have?
You have 3.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's enough.
To be divisible by 10, because I only need 1 2.
Yep, and 12.
And 12 I need 2 2's. So I'm okay with the 2's. So what's the next prime to take a look at? What's the next prime we should take a look at in our list here?
Well, we could go down the list and look at 5.
Okay. Why do we need a 5?
Because 10 is 2 times 5.
If we're going to have a multiple of 10, it's going to have a factor of 5 in it. So how many 5's do I need?
Well, you only need 1.
I only need 1 5 to cover myself for this 10.
And then you only need 1 more 3.
Then I only need one 3 because this one has a 3. The others don't have any 3's. So now let's look at this. This is 2 cubed.
2 cubed
Times 5 times 3 or 15. So now I know this is a multiple of 8, right?
Yeah.
It's 2 times 5 times, now I would have 2 extra 2's, 2 squared times 3. So I know it's a multiple of 10, right?
Yeah.
And it's 2 squared times 3 times what?
Times 5. Because, well, you need 5 10.
Well, this number here is 2 squared times 3, and then what's left after I do the 2 squared? What's left in this number?
1 2.
1 2
1
and 1 5. So I know here's my 12. I know 12 goes into this. Here's my 10. I know 10 goes into that. And here's my 8. I know 8 goes into it. So this
is the least common multiple.
This is the least common multiple. Now let's figure out what it is. It's 8.
8 times 15.
Which is?
Which is 120.
120. There we go. We figured it out. The least common multiple of 8, 10, and 12 is 120. Good job, sweetie. Happy about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Good job. All right. I think you're going to have a few homework problems like that.